Hi, I've got your energy stories from the first week of November 2022. And in the first one, last week Avangrid filed a motion in Massachusetts seeking a 1-month suspension of review of the power purchase agreements for its offshore Commonwealth wind project, citing, quote, unprecedented economic challenges facing all major infrastructure projects, including historic price increases for global commodities, sharp and sudden increases in interest rates, prolonged supply chain constraints, and persistent inflation, unquote. Avangrid says the project currently lacks economic viability and is seeking, quote, modest changes, unquote, to the associated power purchase agreements. Moving onshore, Siemens Gamesa just released a wind turbine within its 5X platform with a rated output of 7 megawatts, with a focus on medium to high wind speed locations. Denmark's Vestas still retains the lead here with a 7.2 megawatt rated machine, while GE sits in third place at 6.1 megawatts. In storage news, Salt River Project announced contracts with storage company Plus Power to commission 2 battery storage systems totaling 340 megawatts and 1,360 megawatt hours by early summer 2024. Both are to be owned and operated by a Plus Power subsidiary, with SRP retaining dispatch control and determining when the systems will be deployed, which will most likely be during peak energy demand periods in the evening. And speaking of batteries, charging network Electrify America has been installing battery storage systems at DC fast charging stations, with the batteries acting as buffers. These will manage energy costs and reduce stress. To date, Electrify America has over 30 megawatts of installed energy storage at over 150 locations, and recently unveiled its first megawatt level system in Baker, California at 1.5 megawatts and 3 megawatt hours. Staying with EV charging stories, Pacific Gas and Electric just received approval to establish the nation's first vehicle-to-grid V2G tariff for commercial EV charging customers that promotes EV adoption by offering upfront incentives to help commercial buyers offset fleet costs. Under the tariff, EVs can export power back to the grid during peak energy periods. The tariff will be available to charging equipment paired with stationary energy storage systems. And PG&E hosts over 420,000 EVs, about 17% of all electric vehicles in the United States. More such programs will be absolutely critical in the near future. A recent Reuters review sees the world's top automakers spending almost $1.2 trillion through 2030 on EVs, batteries, and associated raw materials, up 2x from its most recent review just last year. Switching to nuclear, Pacific Corp and modular nuclear reactor company TerraPower announced they're evaluating 5 sites for TerraPower's fast sodium nuclear reactors integrated with molten salt storage. Modular nuclear reactor technology holds some promise, with the biggest challenge being whether these machines can deliver electricity cost effectively. Well, leading microinverter supplier Enphase indicated it plans to onshore some product manufacturing in response to the recently passed IRA tax credits. These credits help boost markets for solar and therefore increase the inverter market. But perhaps more importantly, the IRA includes a specific credit of 11 cents per watt for microinverters. To date, Enphase had been employing contract manufacturers in China, India, and Mexico to manufacture its products. And while this onshoring trend is growing, Bloomberg New Energy Finance suggests it won't be either easy or cheap to source all the materials domestically, especially solar, batteries, and electrolyzers that have traditionally been manufactured by China. BNEF estimates a price tag of $149 billion for Europe and $113 billion for the US to produce domestically all the batteries and solar panels necessary to meet demand by 2030. Part of the challenge is China's gotten so far ahead in terms of manufacturing efficiencies and know-how. And finally, a study in Nature also looking at these issues suggests that the Made in America approach may come into conflict with the emissions reduction goals set by the US government, noting that prices may increase and concluding it may be difficult or impossible for the US to meet its Paris climate goals if it tries to completely divorce Chinese-made solar materials and move to American production. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.